Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Phil. To Dr. Thompson in the class, I'm sorry that I couldn't make it today. I found out tonight, which for you guys will be last night, that I have to make an emergency trip to Jacksonville this morning. So I'm obviously not there if this video is being played. But I was assigned to do scenes 12 and 13, which, if this video is playing, then that has come up. But I didn't want to neglect my responsibilities, so came up with the idea, make this crazy video, make you stare at my ugly mug for like 10 minutes, and it's kind of like me being there, but it's just, you guys awkwardly watching a PowerPoint instead of me sitting in class. Okay, so scene 12 starts off. We're still in the mist. We've got Blackwell and Shakebag waiting to ambush Arden and Franklin. And there are a few references made. Blackwell kind of compares the mist to Hell's Mouth. I'm not sure if that may have some sort of reference or significance to Shakespeare or something like that. But they think that they heard some horses go by, and obviously, if it was Arden and Franklin, then to quote, "all our labors lost." So it kind of goes on in the same way that that they were trying to wait outside the apprentice's shop, and it was just kind of like this slapstick humor, like it falls on his head, and it's just kind of comically, it's funny how just terrible they are at their job. So Shakebag is like trying to wander around in the mist, and he falls into a ditch, and the ferryman, who was the guy who carted Franklin and Arden across, starts calling to him, and Blackwell and the ferryman kind of have a heated conversation, and it gets even more heated when Arden and Franklin find out that I'm sorry, when Blackwell and Shakebag find out that Arden has already passed them and that they once again suck at their jobs. So once the fog clears away, Mosby arrives with Allison Green, trying to find out if Arden's been killed. Of course, he hasn't because Shakebag and Blackwell are terrible. Alice puts them up at a place called, I think, Flower de Luce is what my notes are telling me. And after they depart, Mosby kind of talks with Alice, saying, these guys are never going to be able to do it. We need to think of something else. But Alice comes up with another little scheme. She says that her and Mosby should confront Arden together defiantly, like, hey, this is our love. You need to get used to it. We're in your face with it. When inevitably they start fighting, she's just going to call Shakebag and Shakebag and Blackwell out of the bushes, and it'll just be a big ambush. So moving on to scene 13. Let me pull up my notes for that. It starts off, and this is as Dr. Thompson said yesterday, there are going to be a few spots in the play where you get a view for Arden's personality and how bad of a person he really is. And the beginning of scene 13 is exactly that, because there's kind of like there's a situation where like anybody would have sympathy for the guy that comes in at the beginning of scene 13, but Arden's just like, you're kind of out of luck, dude. So here's what happens: a sailor named Dick Reed confronts Arden, saying that Arden, you took some of my land, because as we know by now, Arden is a rising landowner. He owns a lot of land, and what Dick Reed is a sailor, and he's going out to sea in a few months, and he's saying, hey, I used to have this little parcel of land. You took it from me. The rent that land gave me was very meager, but it's going to be enough to support my wife and my kids while I'm out at sea. Is it possible at all if you can give this land back to me? And not only does Arden say no, and he kind of defends his purchase, but he even goes as far as to threaten Reed. Like he's very hostile towards him. The guy's like, on his knees saying, please, can I need this to support my family while I'm fighting wars overseas or whatever. And Arden's like, you're crap out of luck, dude. So that's a very good example of why we're made to not like Arden, as Dr. Thompson said, not to the point where we want him to be like brutally slaughtered, but we can see that he's not a good guy. A really interesting bit of foreshadowing slash I guess irony happens here. Reed curses Arden, and he hopes that the land that Arden refused Sailor Dick Reed will bring him disaster, that he ends up running mad there, or to quote, that he is butchered by his dearest friends, which kind of sounds reminiscent of what's going to happen. So Reed departs, and the scene goes on, and Arden meets, just like at the end of scene 12, how I don't know why I'm so bad with names right now. Alice and Mosby, just as they were planning to come up and confront him, saying, we're here, we're together. What are you going to do about it? Well, that finally happens. Franklin and Arden come across them, and it's kind of funny because Arden's kind of like just before it happens, Arden's kind of giving a little praise for women, saying, oh, we've had our qualms in the past, but things are finally starting to go right. And so they come across this, and right as they appear arm in arm, there's some really like offensive words. Like I think the quote I have written down here is "injurious strumpet and thou ribald knave," and like I'm I'm not entirely sure what that means in the context, but it's apparently a heated enough phrase that like right from there the fighting just breaks out as if it's like a your mama joke or something like that. As if anybody takes offense to that anymore. But the weapons are drawn and Alice cries out. Blackwell and Shakebag emerge. In the fight, Shakebag and Mosby are wounded, and this is a really funny part because just as Doctor Thompson was talking in class, well, for you guys, it will be yesterday if you're viewing this. Um, he's kind of saying that Alice always gets caught in a hard spot, but she can always talk herself out of it because Arden is always willing to believe the side of the story that's easier for him to swallow, and he's just kind of really gullible and stupid in a way. So after Mosby is wounded, Alice kind of claims that it was a joke that like she somehow convinces it and turns it around and says that Arden was the one who was doing something wrong, even though it's just it's kind of crazy like that. So what else? What else? What else? Oh, while she's explaining this, there's a really interesting. Let me go to my text. I have the online text because I'm poor, so I have to find it. I think it's lines like crap. So, I think it starts at around line like 105. She goes into this really interesting little section, and it seemed significant. I don't know why it stood out to me, so I googled it. It turns out I don't know if this is the thing that Dr. Thompson was talking about, where there's a part in the play where if it wasn't written by Shakespeare, it might as well have been because it was such a very close resemblance to what he would have written. Um, Alice is starting to, she's going through like why Arden was wrong, and lines I'm looking at it now. I think it's 106 to 113. They strongly resemble a wife of Bath reference, which is from oh my god, Canterbury Tales. Canterbury Tales. Okay. Um, so I don't know if this is what Dr. Thompson was talking about, but it's pretty much ridiculously similar to Wife of Bath. After she goes through that, Arden, of course, is convinced, I was the wrong guy, even though you came up with this crazy looking guy and, basically challenged our marriage right in front of me and then ambushed me, even though, I'm too dumb to see that, oh, these two guys weren't just waiting here to kill me. That's not a thing. But so Arden's repentant, and he even goes to so far as to say that I'm gonna go seek Mosby out and apologize to him and help dress his wounds. It's like Arden, at this point you just not only is everybody waiting for you to die, but you're kind of stupid enough that that Darwinism's gonna catch up with you eventually. Um, so after that, he goes off to find Mosby. The very end of the play is it's kind of like what Dr. Thompson was talking about today again, where Franklin like throughout the play just reaches a point where he's like, this guy Arden is just the biggest. He's an idiot, and he's just the very end of the play is just a quote from Franklin saying, I realize how stupid he is, but there's nothing I can do because it's his wife, and she's got him. She's got him wrapped around his finger. So that's all. I hope this was helpful, and hope you guys have a good